Associate licensee. Salesperson licensee working under a broker. An employing broker is a broker who manages licensed salespeople called associate licensees. The licensed salespeople or associate licensees have agent licenses, and he has a broker's license. A broker can also have agents under him, parentheses, associate licensees, and parentheses, who have broker's licenses too. So there is one broker's license which is responsible for all licenses under that license called associate licensees, and the licenses listed under that license may be agent's licenses or broker licenses. An associate licensee is a licensed agent or licensed broker who works under the license of an employing broker. Related words: employing broker. Deficiency judgment. Lender wins court case, borrower in default to pay loss. If a lender loans on real property and the borrower fails to pay or defaults, the lender goes to repossess or foreclose on the property in an effort to sell the property and regain the amount loaned plus additional expenses of the foreclosure. But what happens if the home or property cannot be sold for enough to cover the original loan amount? This may have been particularly true if the economy as a whole is in decline or experiencing deflation. The lender has the option to go to court and sue the borrower for the remaining amount lost on the loan. If successful, the lender receives a deficiency judgment for the amount lost. Most lenders do not go to this length as it is often cheaper to cut their losses and move on. Additionally, there is very little real possibility that a borrower who cannot meet his obligations under a real property loan probably does not have extra cash laying around to pay a deficiency judgment. Such a person might be declaring personal bankruptcy anyway, making all the work of obtaining a deficiency judgment a waste of time. A deficiency judgment is a court order for a borrower in default to cover the lost amount by the lender. Related words: default, foreclosure. Recording. Public record within the court. Recording is the process of filing a copy of real estate paperwork, parentheses, title and deeds mainly, and parentheses, with the county clerk's records office. It is not required by law, but done just about all the time because of the protection it affords all properties. The risk of not recording a property sale, for example, means an owner might be able to sell a single property multiple times because each buyer is not aware the property was already sold. Recording provides a single public record of property owners within a county. Agent. Person who acts as if he was the principal. Agency is a concept of relationships. The two main players are the principal and the agent. Think of a father and his son. The father is the principal and the son is the agent. In this relationship, the father has given the son permission to act on his behalf. The son loves his father and wants to do exactly what his father would do, as if he was his father. The son is not his father. He is a separate person called the agent. That is what agents do. They do exactly what their principal would do if the principal were there. An agent can never be forced to do this by a principal, but acts out of his own free will and desire to completely represent the principal as if he was the principal. An agent is a person who acts on behalf of and as if he was the principal. Related words: agency, principal. Electrical conduit. Piping system for carrying electric wiring. An electrical conduit is a system of pipes used to hold electrical wiring whose main purpose is to protect from electric shock by containing and protecting already insulated electric wires. Electrical conduit is typically made out of metal or plastic. Depository Institution. Organization that accepts deposits from which it loans. A depository institution is an organization which accepts deposits in the form of checking or savings accounts and then loans to other customers from that money. The compensating balance is the idea that the deposits offset the loans. The institution may also use other funds to lend, like funds from the Fed. A depository institution is a bank, commercial bank, thrift, savings and loan, mutual savings bank, or credit union. A depository institution accepts deposits from some people from which it loans to others. Related words: compensating balance. Directional growth. Growth pattern of a city which affects real property values. The growth of a city can look much like the movements of an amoeboid when mapped out over time. Amoebas move by reaching out in one direction while shrinking in another in what seems like a very random set of motions. A city can seem the same way, yet there are often political, economic, or social reasons that lead to the movements of people. Directional growth is the name for this growth pattern of a city. The reason appraisers are interested in such a concept is that growth patterns often affect real property fair market values. In general, the more growth, the higher the property values. Directional growth is the growth pattern of a city and affects property values. Related words: appraisal. Minor. Person under the age of 18 years old. A minor is defined as a person under the age of 18 years old. It is relevant in real estate because a contract with a minor is voidable. Not void, but voidable, as in a contract with a minor remains in force until or when the minor voids it. If a non-minor enters into a contract with a minor, the non-minor is bound until or when the minor opts to void. Related words: contract, void contract, voidable contract, legal capacity. Egress. Right to leave a landlocked property using another's land. The word, quote, egress, end quote, means to exit or leave. Quote, ingress, end quote, is the opposite, to go in. If a real property is surrounded by other real properties, and therefore there is no way to get to the property, the law provides for the owner to get to his or her property. So the concept of, quote, egress, end quote, is that even if property is landlocked or surrounded by properties owned by others, then the owner has the legal right to leave or enter his or her property by passing over the property of others. The right to pass over another's property is called an easement. Egress, having to have a way to leave a landlocked property, is a good reason to receive an easement, the right to cross another's property for the sake of exiting a landlocked property. Contemporary Tudor style. Steeper pitched and multiple direction ridge roofs. Real estate agents need to have a general idea of different home styles. Some of the many popular options include Mediterranean, California bungalow or craftsman, contemporary or modern, ranch, Tudor, Cape Cod, Victorian, and Pueblo. The contemporary Tudor style is a modern take on the original Tudor style. Many newer homes throughout the Midwest use this style. The style is characterized by a steeper pitched roof in multiple directions to ridge lines and windows with mullions (parentheses, the lattice pattern over window panes) and parentheses. Original Tudor styles had a fireplace chimney at the end of the home. Contemporary Tudor sometimes don't have chimneys.